You're listening to Hotep Ish with your host, Dewan B. Intelligent Ish Talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Y'all. We are here. I know I told y'all 10:15, but I didn't want to wait. It's 10:06, so thank y'all to everybody who's in the chat room early. That's in the chat room 10 minutes before I said I was going to start. We are here bringing that intelligent ish talk. Welcome. We have a very special guest today. Like, I got somebody who is my muse in so many ways. Y'all know me. I was born and raised hella Christian-fied, you know. I was taught that this numerology, don't do that numerology and astrology and cards, and that's the devil. And so for years and years and years, I didn't do it. But I would see this guy on Oprah, and I would hear his name come up from people who was into this field, and I was just always, it was something about numerology, because I always knew there was something more to math than just solving equations for a class. Because I just didn't know to explore it, you know? Because that's how it is being raised in a super conservative Christian environment. You don't really want to, y'all know how it is. You don't want to discover anything. You just want the world to be exactly how you know it is. You know, so, but when I finally broke those chains off my mind, when I decided to, you know what, hey, let me see what this thing they've been telling me is the devil is about. The first book I bought was this one right here, Numbers and You. And this right here is Bible. You see how worn it is. This is I think that's my second copy of it. Well, today we have the author of this book, and somebody, if you've taken my cardiology class, or if you just listen to my podcast, I recommend this book all the time. So I got the author of this book on here. We have Lloyd Strayhorn. How you doing today, my brother? My bad. I had us on mute. My bad. I had us on mute. That's right. So here he is, Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn. I'm good. He asked me how am I doing on the West Coast, and my answer was finally warm.
Well, what was cold there? 85 degrees?
See, you got to understand. From November till about the third week of June, LA was hovering between 42 and like 59, and that
sounds like New York City.
Yeah, it was for us. It's like nah, like usually it'd be like a week or two where it's cold like that, then back into the 70s. You know, even during the winter time. This winter, if we got to 62, we was happy, and this was like for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Like even on my birthday, June 17th. My birthday was the first day we had sun from sun up to sundown. That was the first day all year that we had sun the whole day.
Wow, that's amazing, Dwayne.
Yeah. So what's going on with you over there? You're in New York still?
Yes, I'm here in New York. I'm in the village of Harlem. In fact, when people come to New York, the area I'm in is one of the most sought after for tourism. Everybody wants to come to Harlem. Many things started in Harlem. The numbers game started in Harlem. Everything, all the celebrities or people of note of color all started here in Harlem. And in fact, I'm finishing up a book with several writers talking about 185 years of Harlem history from the 1880s up until now, about some of the things that's happened. Harlem has gone through a lot of transformation, as it's going through now, as in other cities, whether it's the Queen City in Charlotte or probably there in California. There are changes going everywhere. But I guess that's the only thing that's constant in life is change anyway.
Yeah, it's only
But
concept.
I am an astronumerologist. In fact, what happens is the book that you showed, I deliberately did not have my image on it because I didn't want people to be partial that, oh, he's this, and therefore, so I get a lot of responses that say, oh, I thought you was this, or I thought you was that, not knowing who I was, because my thing is about getting the knowledge. But I have a challenge that I do, and I'll probably do it on your show too, Dwayne. And I challenge all your viewers who is listening to this show right now, not today, because it's kind of in the morning, but to get up tomorrow and start their day from beginning to end and don't use numbers. They can't look at their watch to see what time it is. They can't make a call. They can't get a call. They can't buy lunch. They can't buy gas. You can't push no buttons. You can't watch TV or radio because it sends out frequencies, which is what allows you to see your particular program. Or what. You can do nothing without numbers. If you talk to an athlete, they will tell you the most cherished honor for them is to have his or her number retired in the franchise. That no matter as long as that franchise lives, nobody who comes under can never carry their numbers. So numbers guide you. And it's interesting. I was a altar boy. I even went to seminary school because I wanted to be a minister. And so like you, where people thought of this, astrology, numerology, is like, are you crazy? Are you serious? But then again, this is the world I went into. And so I found that like, no matter what the person is, and you know what's interesting, Dwayne, if even a person who says, I don't believe in that stuff, I'm an agnostic or whatever the case is, I'll say, well, what's your zodiac sign? Without even blink, they'll say Capricorn or this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody who don't believe, I know they seem to know their signs. And as I explain to people, for those that are biblically oriented, if you go to the Old Testament, the fourth book of Moses is called the book of Numbers. I didn't write that. Okay. Where God instructed Moses on the second day of the second month to name the armies by their name in their poll. If you go to the far end of
sounds like a code
Bible,
to me.
Which is Revelation, they will tell you here is the beast, is the mark of man, and his number is 666. Cryptically, further deeper into the chapter of Revelation, they talk about Christ's number is 888. You cannot find a passage or anything in the Bible without going to Psalm 23, verse 10 through 13. How you going to make your point? Yeah. And I know when I was a kid, I don't know about Jill, but when I was a child, and my mother would take us to church, and she'd be sitting there with her girlfriends, and so they said, you know, that hymn number looked real good. I knew they was going to play that number that week.
Yeah.
You know? But numbers metaphysically is such a tremendous guide to helping people. And in fact, you can't do anything. If you go to your dentist today, well, each tooth is assigned a number. If you want to know your blood pressure, well, those numbers will tell whether it's high, low, or you need your cholesterol level. Everything is guided by numbers. So, and here's what I say too to the guys. Suppose you met the most beautiful woman walking the planet Earth and you wanted to get to know her. And she says, well, just call any number. Man, you'd be calling numbers till the cows come home. But if you get the right numbers in the right order, you get the right person you're looking for.
See, that's a great detailed description of what numbers are. And for those of you just tuning in, we're talking to Lloyd Strayhorn, master numerologist. How do you say numerologist or numerologist?
Numerologist, exactly.
Okay, I thought
master
so. Okay.
Numerologist, yeah.
And yeah, so we're talking about numbers and the importance of numbers and the significance of numbers. And if you keep tuning in, we will do some, we will put up some birthdays later on, and he'll break down some personalities just based off numbers so we can have a little bit of fun. You know, I like doing that. Yeah. I do that all the time with my cards, but today we're going to yield my time. We're going to have him do it from the numbers point of view. And like so you're a trailblazer because again, you came around, you really got out there in the 70s, 80s, when TV, as far as 70s, and yeah. So yep. You were around when you were out there talking numbers at a time the Christianity thing had, or you were either a Christian, you were a Muslim, you were a Jehovah's Witness. It seemed like during those times, really up until the last 15 years, everyone was hardcore some kind of religion, or they didn't believe in anything. So you had to come in the middle of those two schools of thought, either believe in something that told you this stuff is crazy, or believe in nothing, that the world is random. And here you come talking numbers in the 70s and the 80s as a trailblazer. Tell me about that. What inner guidance in you allowed you to keep doing this in spite of the environment you were in being so against it?
Well, you know what's interesting, Dwayne, because when I was coming up, astrologers would actually keep their astrology and numerology books wrapped in brown paper, so you can see what books they were reading. You know, it was like that. Yes, and my folks was from the South, so they were very much into going to church on Sunday, every Sunday, Easter, Palm Sunday, you name it. I was always up at the church. So this is why I said I wanted to actually be a minister as a result of it. Altar boy, making sure that I made my communion once a month, whatever, because I did all that. Then went to seminary school. But I'd always had a love of, seem to understand there's another side to this. And I kept it to myself. It's interesting because when I said, I told my dad I wanted to be a numerologist, and he thought, oh, we're going to have the first Black doctor in the family. He thought I was saying neurologist, a doctor that studies the nervous system.
Right.
And you know how every Black family wants a doctor in the family, okay? And then a couple of weeks later, he asked me, what was that? And I said, I want to be a numerologist. And then he as a father would say, well, how do you get paid? And I really didn't have an idea, but I knew I found something I wanted to do. And part of it was because I was shy. I was very bashful, talking to the girls and whatnot. And it seemed like the Suavito brothers would always swoop up all the girls. And then so that's when I started learning about my zodiac sign, being an Aquarius. And then as I went along and studied my sign, it helped me build up my confidence, understand my characteristics, my strengths, my challenges. But along the journey, Dwayne, I found that everybody wants to know who they are. Everybody. So even the most skeptic will tell me they don't believe in it, but they know their sign. And in fact, now the skeptics are my meat. The beautiful part about Born in Harlem is everybody came from the state of Missouri, the show me state. Yeah, I'm gonna think what that mean. I'm gonna eat what that mean. You know what I'm saying? And I had to, but thankfully, in my original book, I actually thanked those people because they were the ones who made me good at what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what it does is it just guides, and here's the thing, with numerology, it does two things that astrology does not do. Well, astrology, the people have asked me, which came first, astrology or numerology? Numerology came first, and no, not because I'm a numerologist. I'm actually an astronumerologist, which means a couple of both. Here's what I mean by numbers come first. If you've ever gone to an astrologer, those viewers here, you know when you go to an astrologer, you must give them pieces of information all in numbers. The month, the day, the year you're born, the time you're born, and they need to know the location so they can figure out the longitudes and latitudes of where you were. So for example, it's 1 o'clock my time, or going on 1:30, but it's 10:30 going on your time.
Yeah.
India is 12 hours away, and China is 12 hours away. If I go to Hawaii is 6 hours behind. So there's a different time zone, which is why the astrologer needs to know what time you were born. Would you give to him numbers? You don't give them to him in letters or alphabet code. You give it to him in numbers. And then once he knows the place, he can look up in his ephemeris and determine the longitude and latitude. So everything is guided by numbers. So that's why my attitude is numbers got to be here first, because if numbers wasn't here first, an astrologer couldn't erect your chart properly. All right.
And they wouldn't be able to measure when these planetary bodies are going to be in the sky at a certain time.
Yes. And by the way, numerology is an ancient African subject. And people shouldn't get bent out of shape about that, because my thing is, if you look at the Pyramid of Giza, what is the main point about it? Not only the unsolved, some of the mysteries that they still haven't resolved or solved yet, but it is built at the exact center of the earth. Now, you don't build nothing at the exact center of the earth willy-nilly. I'm sorry. Not with that precision. And after all these years and centuries, there's still figuring out that it has a connection to the solar systems, the eclipses, and everything. And it's one of the few man-made structures other than the Great Wall of China that can be seen from outer space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, that numbers again. You don't build something 360 degrees without having exact calculations.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm glad. And again, thank everybody for listening right now. I like to use my channel to expand minds and open up modalities of thoughts, introduce everyone to new things out there, or get into greater detail of those who understand it. So that's why I have here my guest here, Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn, talking about numbers and numerology and the importance of numerology and what it does. Below you see his link tree. Mods, if you can see linktree.com/numbers and you, that gets you connected to everything in Lloyd's world, all of his websites, his books that he has out, and all that good stuff. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Mr. Strayhorn, I have a question. In numerology, like they have things called, can you explain to the people what a life path is? Everyone has a life path number. Can you explain what a life path, how do you add up a life path, and what is it? What is a life path?
Okay, there's certain terms they'll use. They'll use life path, birth path, destiny numbers. What it simply means is taking the month, the day, and the year a person is born. Just that simple. And by adding the person's month, day, and year, whatever that single digit is. See, let's say the number added up to 16 when you took the month, the day, and the year. Well, 1 + 6 is 7. That's the root number. But when there's a double number in numerology, they call it the FADIC system, FADIC. And what I explained it this way, because a person, for example, may not be familiar with some of the jargons in numerology, like life path, destinies, birth paths, and stuff. I'll say the month, the day, and the year you're born, when you add up the single digit of those three factors, determines what grade you're in the school of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're born on June the 17th. Do you know your destiny number or life path number?
8.
Then that means you're in the 8th grade in the school of life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put it like that, they seem to be able to wrap their heads around it because we've all gone to school. We all know that when you're in a grade, you got to learn certain lessons to go to the next grade.
Question for the people out there. Let's give an example how you added up 0, 6, 17, 8, 1. I think I'm an 8. But how would they add it up?
Okay, we're gonna do it this way: June 17, and the year you born, 1981.
Yes.
Okay, so we do it like that. That's 14002. That would be a 6.
6. Yeah,
I said that right.
That's 8.
No.
Yes,
that's how you do it. I took the month you were born. Underneath, I put the day you were born. Underneath that, I put the year you were born. Then I add my column across, and then add across. I prayed I did it right.
I said 8. I thought it was 6.
Yeah, you said 8, but your life path is 6.
I said 8. Yeah, it's 6. Yeah, I'm tripping.
It's all right. Well, we're human, man. Now when you start walking on water, Dwayne, okay, but until that happens, don't worry about it.
So you did the 1 + 9.
Added everything. That's how people should do to find their particular destiny, life path, or what grade they're in. So you are in the 6th grade in the school of life. And the way I would describe it to you is this: 6s normally tend to, during the course of their journey from the womb to the tomb, will go into 3 areas. One of them is the arts. They're connected with the arts in some way: painters, designers, entertainers, musicians, actors, actresses, whatever the case is. Or they become a strong patron of the arts, going to art openings, concerts, whatever the case is, or have arts or anything creative and colorful in their home. That's the first part. The second part is they do well in the world of business, real estate, banking, law, working for the government, things of that nature. And the third category of people in the 6th grade in the school of life, they go into the area of service. Service is community. They wind up being teachers, mentors, life coaches, personal trainers, psychologists, sociologists, things of that nature.
I do all 3.
Yeah. So that is your destiny in this life. It also means that each number is rule assigned. So along the destiny, you'll find that Tauruses, which is late April into May, Librans, which is late September into October, or people born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month, because those numbers, 1 + 5 is 6, 2 + 4 is 6, will help and assist you in some way. but you will all, and people in the 6th grade have a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice. People with a 6th destiny, life path, or birth path. That's why when I teach my students, I say, don't get caught up in the lingo, the semantics. As long as you know that, when I take the month, the day, and the year you're born, that's what it is. But because I don't assume that people don't, because in every trade, whether it's entertainment, business, there is a certain jargon or terminology they use in their respective enterprises. So in numerology, for those that are familiar with it, those are the terms you use. But I don't assume a person's familiar. So I'll say you're in the 8th grade, you're in the 1st grade, you're in the 9th grade. And they seem to then understand by going to school, that means something that you got to wrap your head around.
Got you.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's how.
Yes, and see, here's the difference, the distinction between astrology and numerology. Both astrology and numerology uses the birthday. But unlike astrology, numerology uses your name as well. So what happens is, when I explain to the person, I says, your birthday tells me what you're here to learn, because don't forget, that's the grade you're in. But your name tells me what you already know. And that is determined from taking from your name and transposing the letters of your name into numbers. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do your name, Dwayne, Dwann. So that's 45155. That equals 1020.
This is fun. I'll be reading y'all all the time. This is fun getting read in front of y'all. Ha!
So this is your name, Dwayne. And under the Pythagorean system, now, technically, the W would be a 6 under the Chaldean system. So primarily when I'm reading clients and they're spending their valuable time and hard-earned money with me, I use the original system, but this is the 1 to 9 system. So each letter is assigned a number. D is a 4, W is a 5, A is a 1, N is a 5, N is a 5. The first thing I do is I see when numbers are repeated the most. So there's a lot of 5s. Now, 5 indicates in your name you are multifaceted, multi-talented, multidimensional, okay? And I would tell anybody dating or dealing with you, the secret to holding on to Dwayne is to let him go, because 5 is ruled by the element of air.
My wife must have talked to you before we got married, because she know.
5s also don't like people that are slow, dull, or boring. 5s don't like repeating themselves too many times either. Like, listen, Stray, how many times we had
damn right.
conversation? Are we paying attention up in here? And yet your number is up to a 20. Now, in numerology, once you get past 9, like 10, 11, 12, they have their own definition. So since it added to 20, that tells me the 20th card in the tarot deck is called the Awakening. It's a picture symbol of a man, a woman, and a child with their hands clasped in prayer, almost as if about to ascend to the heavens. So when I say awakening, that means ever since you can remember, you've always been pulling people's coat about, man, you should do this. Man, I know this and that, And and it also tells me, since it's a 2, it tells me you do very well with women. Women have played a very strong role in your life. I would say to a degree, women have been your blessing and your curse. Women that love you for who you are, and women who can't have you. I don't understand that thinking. They were going to give you a hard way to go too.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friends. Women have been the biggest impact, like as far as my inroads into anything I've ever gotten, it's all come through women.
Yeah, but because C2 is ruled by the moon, which rules Cancer, which rules the female principle. So this is why you would always be popular with ladies. Not that you're a player, okay? But that you just seem to know how to talk to women, feel comfortable with women, whatever the case is. Or especially, and here's when I say the challenge is with a 2. You're married, but women always want to, because when women talk to each other, sometimes they want to call a guy to get a male perspective. Well, here comes Dwayne. Well, Dwayne, honey, and so if your wife understands that and women call, it's just that they trying to get a male perspective about things. And it tells me also the zodiac signs possibly of one of your parents, which is they could have either been a Cancer or Taurus, or born on the 2nd, the 7th, the 11th, the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month, because our name is what attracts the zodiac signs and the dates of birth to us as well.
My dad was born on the 25th.
Yeah, see?
And we're the same card because you know I'm a cardologist. My dad and I, he's 125th, and we're both king of clubs.
Wow. And I always get along with clubs.
Yeah.
Diamonds and clubs. I just, for some reason, of that suit,
Yeah.
I tend to get along better with the clubs than the spades. The hearts too, they cool. But almost always club, it's going to work for me.
Yeah, same.
Even in my relationships, diamonds and clubs.
Diamonds, yep. My wife is a diamond. And,
see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. And it's crazy you said it, but you know, so it's such a correlation between astrology and cardology, because in cardology, the number of the card takes on the same number as the numerology.
Same characteristics, yes.
Same characteristics. Right. So like one of the cards that are one of the most difficult cards to be born under, like as far as a difficult life path, is a 3 of diamonds. 3 of diamonds people generally go through a lot when they're young. They generally don't come into their own until they get into their 20s. But until they get to their 20s, life really kicks them in their ass. And so what is it about? And I know it is with 3 of spades of people who have confusion, like they have a trouble finding their way. You know, they have trouble getting focused. 3 of hearts people have trouble with their emotions and getting their emotions in check. You know, 3 of clubs people overthink themselves. What is it with 3s?
Well, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. And one of the challenges is 3 is going to excess. It's like I used to say, sometimes too much of is just as bad as none of.
Yes.
3s suffer with panic attacks, anxiety episodes. It rules the emotional upsets, things of that nature. But on the other hand, 3 is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which means good luck, expansion, foreign languages, foreign cultures, whatever the case may be. And so it all depends. The only thing about a 3 is they have to be careful of taking things to the extreme, whatever those extremes are. So, for example, a 3 person may feel they must have Haagen-Dazs ice cream every night before they go to bed. They don't care. Okay. And if not, I'll even get up and go out late at night to get me some. So if for 3, it's about striking the balance. So every number has a positive to it and a not so positive to it. All of us do. And I think that is a part of life while we're here to learn these lessons so we can be as close to the positive side of nature, because we all have our challenges.
We all do have our challenges. Yeah, I appreciate that. I have the chat room going wild. Everyone wants that birthday read. So get ready. You guys put your birthdays in the chat room. We're going to get there. I got a couple more questions, and then we're going to get there. And he's going to break down some of your birthdays in the chat room. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Cool. That's what we're going to do. So, and when it comes to numerology, there are people out there who are skeptics and they think it's fortune telling. Explain to the people what it really is. It's not fortune telling.
Well, it's a science. It's an ancient African science. Now, there have been people who I call them haters to a degree. God bless their souls. They'll say it's a pseudoscience. No, anytime you do something and it's the same thing, the same method, that's called the scientific method. When you go to an astrologer, you must give them, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, like numerology. You must give them consistently the month you were born, the day you were born, the year you were born, the time and the location. That's a science. That's a science. I don't care who it is. Yeah.
You can repeat the result over and over and over again.
Yeah, you don't give it to an astrologer and say, well, my address is so-and-so, and then they erect your chart. No, they can't do it like that. They must have certain, that in and of itself, that procedure in and of itself makes it scientific. And then I have 3 religious bodies that tend to have problems with what I do. And is it okay if I mention them?
Go right ahead.
Born again Christians have a problem with me. Jehovah's Witnesses have a problem with me. And 7-day Adventists have a problem with me.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yes. But here's the thing I've said. Almost all the great religions have a tenet, directly or indirectly: honor thy God, honor thy mom and thy dad, thou shalt not kill. Ever since Cain killed Abel in the Bible, the first recorded murder, so to speak, in that way biblically, there have always been wars fought. There's the Catholics and the Protestants in in Ireland. There's the Muslims and the Hindus in India. And nowadays there's wars. There's wars with the United States and Ukraine. And I tell people, name me a war since man has come upon this earth in the sign of Gemini. They can't name me one. Name me a war fought in the name of the number 8. They can't name me one. Now, until somebody brings me a war fought in the name of a zodiac sign or a date of birth, I'll stop doing what I'm doing. But I don't think it's happening. Nowhere.
Right.
You search the annals of history.
Now they
Nothing
made
even close to it. Nothing. And some of the most powerful people, from Hitler to President Ronald Reagan to Napoleon, you can remember, all used the ancient art of science of astrology. And only when Hitler's astrologers defected to England did they knew how to counter him, and the rest was a wrap.
And that's what I was going to get ready to say. They'll use the numbers to in the energy of a day to strike and to start a war.
Yeah.
But they don't use the numbers, and they don't start wars in name of that number or day. You know, and it's a difference. It's like, okay, yeah. When Russia invaded Afghanistan, it was on Christmas, December 25th, the Six of Hearts Day. Those are days that, you know, Six of Hearts is a very emotional day. And if you capture the energy of a Six of Hearts, you can use it to prepare yourself, you know, really for. So they'll strike on certain days because of the energy because of the energies of that date. But they'll never start a confrontation over fighting over who owns the date or anything like that, like they do in religions.
Never. And especially with the United States, and every time they did something, they always attack under the new moon. The new moon is when both the sun and the moon are in the same sign at the same time, and it's totally dark and you can't see. But on a full moon, like we had this past Monday, you know, you can be at night in the brightness of the sky, you can see images and everything like that. You know, so all these things are amazing. And this year in and of itself is the year of the 7. And 7 is a very spiritual year anyway. Why? Because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. And 7 is a number. This is one of the cycles, and that's why I call it the universal year, because everybody, frogs, dogs, cats, human beings, birds, you name it. If you're living through this year, we're all under the influence of a 7. 7 is one of the numbers that a lot of people find somewhat challenging. Why? Because of the fact that it is more spiritual, more about seeking of wisdom, beginning to get into the why you do the things you do, the number of self-analysis, the number of secrets revealed. And in fact, they talked about this year so far, this has been a record that whistleblowers have come out of wherever they are, agencies and everything, and start telling the beans on everybody.
Right,
you know
right.
But this is because 7 is about secrets revealed. Secrets also govern the law of attraction. And I tell people, whatever you're thinking, that's what you will attract. So if you're walking around this year saying, I got no money, the source will make sure you don't have a penny come the end of this year. Trust me.
It's crazy you brought up the 7, because this is a 7 of Hearts year. It would have been a 7. And 7 of Hearts is all about crossing boundaries. It's all about unearthing what was hidden beneath the surface.
It's getting to the surface of things and bringing it to the surface. You know, it's interesting. Speaking of 17, which is you, J.P. Morgan was born on the 7th. When the media, or the reporters then at that time in the early 1900s, the early 1920s rather, well, no, it's the early 1900s, because he passed away on March the 31st of 1913. But when they found out he used astrology, they came to him and asked him the question, is it true astrology make millionaires? He says no. His response was, astrology makes billionaires. And so what I'm saying is, so these men of power and positions of the past, the present, and it will be the future, will always use these ancient African sciences to guide them.
That the numbers is one thing about they always say, people always like to tell the half quote, numbers don't lie. No, numbers don't lie, but you better make sure you have the right numbers.
Yes, but people have used numbers to manipulate people.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. They give you a portion of the numbers and then say, here's the truth, and numbers don't lie. No, if you want to talk numbers, you got to know all the numbers and know it's best. I think, explain to me this before we get to the questions. The reason why I brought you on today, one reason why I think you're so important, and I think that you're one of the greatest humans to ever live, and I think that your work is going to outlast you by millennia on time, because you break numbers down in a way that is just so palatable to the everyday novice person. So when it comes to numbers, what do you feel ultimately is like how to use them? And like I personally, I feel that it's important that people, one, get your book and understand the numbers. Another book I like to recommend to people is a book called How to Lie with Numbers by Huff. I forgot his first name, but that book teaches you, I think Daryl Huff, but it's called How to Lie with Statistics. It shows you how people use numbers and statistics to manipulate us all the time.
Yes, they do. Yes,
All
they
the
do.
time, and they'll say, "Okay, these are the numbers." But so, how do you, as a numbers man, numerologist, how do you guard against that? Or what education do you think people should have on numbers to, one, protect themselves from people who try to manipulate them through numbers, two, understand numbers when they see them?
Well, that is what I just released a numerology app called A Star 8, ASTAR, the number 8. They can get it on Apple.
I'm putting that in the chat room. You
Android.
said A Star A?
Yeah, A Star 8, the number 8, your number, because
Okay.
you're an 8. Okay. ASTAR, the number 8. Or they can even go to the website, astar8.com, to see some of the features, and then they can download it either they Google or Google or Apple.
It's in the chat room, y'all.
That with the numbers, my whole thing is, if Dwayne can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, why can't Dwayne be in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe?
Mm-hmm.
Man is the only one that acts out of sync and think he's in control of nature. Mm-hmm. Birds know when to fly to Capistrano. Herds of a species know when to migrate from north to south. Fish know when to swim upstream, or whatever the case is. And so they do it on a natural clock of nature. But we are made in God's highest image, and we don't have a season. And see, this is where these groups have problems with me, because I try to talk from a sense of logic. If these species in nature, like if a person has certain fruits, like my grandmother used to love boiled peanuts. Now, boiled peanuts are very available right now. In about another month, I don't care how much you want them, you can't find them because they're out of season. So we all have a season. God has given us a season. So to give you an example, you're born on the 17th. So you are an air sign with an earth number. That means your most important numbers are the 8, 6, and 5. What does that mean? Well, each number is assigned a day. Saturday is one of your best days. Then next would be Wednesday. Then next would be Friday, in that order. So once I know your best days, then there are dates that are very important to you, such as the 5th, the 6th, the 8th, the 14th, the 15th, the 17th, the 23rd, the 24th, and the 26th of the month, because all those days add to a single digit of either a 5 or a 6 or an 8. Then I go to the wider horizon, which means your powerful months, therefore, will be in the months of January, May, and June, September, and October. So if you look at the birthdays of your mother or father or children, or when you married or whatever, these months will be significant, which is late December into January, late April into May and June, late August into September and October. These will all be important milestones for you. Then when you reach certain ages, and so with number 8, normally their lives turn around between their 33rd, 6th to their 35th birthday, which is an 8. So if you look at when your life started turning around, because late 8 people are normally late bloomers. They don't get, it's not that they can't get it early, but they find as they get older, life tends to get better for them in their wisdom and understanding and success.
All true. All true. All true.
And that works for every number. So just as you have important numbers, the numbers that would stress you would be the 4 as one of the numbers and whatnot. So so my app will download that. It tells you right away what your key numbers are and right away what your challenging numbers are. A star 8.
I have it down at the bottom, everyone. Astar8.com. It's at the bottom of the screen right there. Astar8.com. All right, we got some birthday requests that have come through. We have July 12th, 1990.
That person is a water sign with a fire number, which means they're intuitive yet passionate and driven. In their lives, they will find that when they were young, they attracted much older relationships. As they've gotten older, the relationships are now younger and from different cultures or long distance relationships as well. 1 + 2 is 3. With 3 people, normally they're very creative, they're very expressive, they're very expansive, they're very imaginative. They have a gift with children, pets, animals. To give you an example, the former Bill Cosby, when he was at the height of his fame, in fact, that was his birthday, July 12th, okay? Where he was like, he would sell Jell-O to all the children. I mean, the Jell-O sales just went up with kids and whatnot, but that is one of their gifts. The one thing I admire about a 3, especially to the positive side, because all of us have a yin and a yang effect to our numbers, is that when you tell a 3 person they cannot do something, that's when they really rise to the occasion, roll up their shirt sleeve to show you what they're going to do. So if I say to this person, July 12th, you know what, you're not going to be successful. You're just going to be a bum or whatever the case is. They're going to be very determined to prove me wrong. And then when I did their personal year cycle, now there's the universal year, then there's your personal year. And how you get that is you take the month and day you're born, but instead of adding the year you were born, you substitute it and take the year of now. So when I took July the 12th, added to 2023, they're in the 8 personal year. So it all depends. What's did they give their year?
19. Let me go back. It was 1990.
Okay, they're in a pregnancy cycle. If it's a man, or it's a woman. Now, don't forget, numbers are very symbolic. So that means he can become a father, or somebody say, man, you're going to be a godfather, or whatever the case is, or you're going to be an uncle, or he can symbolically give birth to an enterprise, birth to a business. So it tells me this year he's been very mature. He's really waking up. He's growing. And by the way, his lucky numbers are always a 3, 2, and 7. And his best days are always on a Thursday, a Friday, and a Monday.
This is so dope and interesting. Wow. So all that, as you guys see here from the birthday, you can tell a lot the same way I can with cards. It's numbers, and it all comes down to number sequences. And so before I get to the next person, someone may ask, well, my card is a 10 of diamonds, but my life path is a 7. So how do you differentiate that 10 number and the 7? How would you? And then in astrology, they may say, "Hey, I'm born the 6th month of the year in the sixth house or whatever." You have all these different numbers going on at the same time. How do you explain that?
Well, don't forget, we are a mixture of everything. This is why we're not all clones. We all don't get up at the same time, eat at the same time, dress at the same time, look alike. Life would be pretty boring. And yet we all have eyes, a mouth, and a nose. And yet we can distinguish one person from another. So that's the distinction. So let's start with the numerology part. The month and year says the path you are here to follow in this lifetime. Okay? The astrology indicates the personality that you project before the public. Okay? The cards, of course, adds another dimension to it too, in that sense. They all got away. Okay. And so that is the point of understanding. So it may seem like a smorgasbord of things, but don't forget, we're not just one thing. Man is so multifaceted, multidimensional. Coca-Cola just don't sell Coca-Cola. They own Frito-Lays, man. They be selling potato chips up in there, pretzels up in there. Come on. You know what I'm saying?
About that.
Yeah, come on.
You're right about that.
We as man does that too. So people will see you in one capacity and not realizing that there are other components to that same person as well. So that's why my thing is we all have talents, gifts, skills, and abilities. We're so busy, though, and programmed now to look and see what the Kim Kardashians are doing, the Kanyes are doing, the Beyoncés are doing, as against looking in our own backyard to see what we have the ability to do.
That's real talk.
We're just as special as they are. Trust me. They just got the money.
They got the money, and then they get the attention. That's what they got the camera shot up. I noticed that. They come
and pay my bills, they get my focus. But they ain't paying none of my bills up in here.
I saw that all weekend. I was up in Napa all weekend with every celebrity around. It was just a bunch of regular folks having a good time. It was no different than what's going on.
That's it.
Around, you really started to see that. People got the same worries. Are my children okay?
Theirs are just bigger. That's why JC, more money, more problems.
That's everything. We got another birthday that just came through. It is for August 4th, 1979.
Okay, that's President Obama's birthday, or former President Obama's birthday. Or people from the very beginning, whether they're born on the 4th of the month like this person, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st, or almost always, I call it the number of secret enemies. Because people are either jealous of them, envious of them, or insecure with them. And don't forget, when President Obama was elected, on day one of his first term, that very night they sat at a cafe or something
Mitch
to try
McConnell and
to
all those
undermine
guys,
him that his first administration wouldn't even be a done deal. And secret interviews, because see, poor people are very visionary. Poor people would be described as weird or different because they like to think outside the box. If everybody does something one way, they're going to do it another way. If you say why, their tendency is to say why not. But what happens is, because they are so much ahead of their time, I explain to folks, this is why you can't tell everybody in the moment what your intentions are. Because they will hear what you're saying, but to comprehend it, it's like a reading test. Can you read the word? Yes, but do you understand what you just read? That's a totally different animal.
Yes, totally different animal. So
yeah, and so this person is very sensitive, very high strung. This person's key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. So it means their best days are always on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays, and they always do well without exceptions in February, June, July, August, and September. And this particular year, they're in a 1 cycle year. Did I do that right? 2. No, they're in a 2, 3. Yes, they're in a 1 cycle. They're in a 1 cycle year. So this is a year where they need to jumpstart their life, do things on their own. It's not what their mother wants, the mates, the kids want, the boss want, the neighbors, all that. When you're in a 1 cycle year, think of it as like planting seeds. And so you must say, what is it that I want to do for me? So your 3 best friends should be me, myself, and I. But let's say this August 4th is in a codependent relationship. Then circumstances before this year is over will force them to stand on their own and make a decision.
Yes. Y'all see how detailed it is? How do they contact you for a reading?
Well, they can contact me by Linktree, Numbers in You. They've got all my information there. When I have a newsletter, I have an audio book on my bed. And by the way, the book you've shown, I have 3 other books on sale in addition to that one on Amazon that they can purchase too. Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for everyday living. That's the one. That's it. Then Lloyd's Numbers in You, a relationship guide, a blueprint to cosmic happiness and joy. And then Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond, all in different colors. All can be on Amsterdam, where you can purchase them for your own good. And then I just became a member of TikTok. So I've just formed a series on it called Teach Beginners, Numerology for Beginners, teaching numerology and astrology, how everything works with the signs and the numbers, because we all connected. The cards are just as connected, but it's almost as if they get you to see as if things are disjointed when there's really more coordination and teamwork than people might know.
Yeah, man. This is such an
all
amazing.
Unified. And so when you put all these sciences together, that's what makes you good at what you do, Dwayne.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about the sciences versus the religions. And I'm not here to fight and compare and contrast, but just pointing out differences. When you get into the sciences, astrology, numerology, cartology, tarot, whatever, even though one person may do one more than the other, we all still see how they fit together. There's more of a community, a fusion. As a numerologist, I've never seen a numerologist tell me not to visit an astrologer. I've never seen an astrologer tell me not to visit, someone in tarot. I've never seen someone in tarot say, don't do cartology. This is what I do. This is because we all have our different channels to where we interpret things the best. For me personally, numerology was where I started when I got into these sciences. Before I got into astrology and everything else, numerology was first. And I liked it. I liked astrology, but out of everything, nothing spoke to me more than cards. The cards, like when I saw you can read these, it was just it's funny. It's crazy. I just happened to pick up my card.
Right.
It's crazy how that works. But when I found out that you can read regular poker cards, this just happened to speak to me more than anything else, where I can interpret it more accurately.
And notice it was on a more esoteric level, not for gin rummy, not for craps, not for spades or whatever the case is, but like numbers too. People take numbers, whether it's money, accounting, or whatever. But there is a metaphysical side to the cards as they are to numbers. And so you and I have just been blessed to be tapped in to see that side is, and not only that, it describes things to a remarkable degree. All things considered.
Yes, and it all works together, and that's people out there. I want people to really understand when it comes to the sciences, when it comes to true knowledge and true information, it all works together because life is 360 degrees, and you can't know it all with 1 degree of information. You have to
No.
understand the full 360, and we'll live the rest of our lives and never understand the full 360. That's why we're in constant modes of learning, 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 and learning.
And I will say this, sometimes religion has been used to control people. So that's why there would be people in power in the past that didn't want their wives to know about these things, that these things should be kept. So if you look, almost every paper across this entire nation has a horoscope column of 1 or 2 lines, with the exception of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. They carry it in their magazines. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It will be here for a lifetime. It's not going to go away. And people are always curious. Now, fast forward this 21st century, this age of Aquarius, people are now more open and receptive. So you can get on Google and type in your Gemini sign, your number, and find a ream of information. When I was coming up, that was impossible. That you had to know where to go, what books to get. And as I said, they will walk around with the astrology and other books wrapped in a brown paper so you wouldn't know what they were reading.
See, yeah. So we are definitely in new times. I got 2 more birthdays here. Yeah. I got 3/11/1967. March 11th, 1967.
That's the same day as Rupert Murdoch that got sued for all those hundreds of millions of dollars. But this person is very visionary. In fact, they happen to be in a 3 personal year, with their key numbers being the 2, 7, and 3. And they're in a 3 personal year. This is their good luck cycle. This is their cycle to expand, to improve, to grow, things of that nature. This person is very visionary. They're under what is called a master number 11. And so it's not just a 2, which is 1 + 1 is 2, but it's composed of 2 ones, which are fire numbers. So that means this person is very proactive. They got with great concepts, great ideas. They're very visionary in their way. But at the same time, with them being in a 3 personal year, this is the time to expand their network, to grow, to do things of that nature. Their best days are always on a Monday, a Thursday, and a Friday, as these are their best days to carry out their plans.
And I just dropped into me. I'm gonna do a cardology quick for that same birthday. That birthday is a Queen of Diamonds, and Queen of Diamonds is all about intuitive values, serving with your intuition. A Queen of Diamonds person that's the mother of values. So the Queen of Diamonds, she has to live through her experiences, especially at the age of 67. You've had enough experiences to now understand things. And as long as this person serves through intuition, as long as they trust themselves and trust their spirit, they're going to be fine. But if they step outside of that and get it in their head, as that was born on that birthday, they're going to keep knocking their foot up against the rock. And that's what it is. That's what people got to understand as a Queen of Diamonds person. So it's funny how that kind of overlaps. You know,
that's what I'm saying. That all these sciences are correlated. You know, all we have to do is pay attention. But they want people kept in the dark. But with this being the age of Aquarius and the age of enlightenment, that's no longer the case.
It's not possible to keep these things in the dark. So, so yeah. So yeah, that was for that birthday. I have another birthday that just came through. It was for July 21st, 1987.
Okay, this person is a 327. Essentially, the other person born March the 11th was a 2, 7, and 3. This person's numbers. Well, it all depends. If they feel, to some, all depending on. See, this is why an astrologer needs to know what year and what time and where they were born. Because to some people born July 21st is the very last day of Cancer. To other people, depending on where they're born, is the very first day of Leo. So I'll put it to them like this. If this person feels they're Cancer, their most important numbers are the 3, 2, and 7. If they feel they're on the Leo side, their personal numbers are the 3, 1, and 4. So for the Cancer side, that means that Thursday and Mondays are their best days. For the Leo side of this equation, if that's the case, that means that Thursdays and Sundays are their best days. So it always that way. But I'll tell you this person started out old, and as they get older, they're going to become younger, and so do the relationships they attract in their life.
So they started off old. There's somebody that's going to come become younger. It's funny you say that because that birthday is a 7 of clubs, and the 7 of clubs is an influencer. That's somebody who, when they speak, people listen, and those people can be club promoters. They can be someone like, even when they were young, they probably were told that they said wise things. But that's somebody that, as they get older, they have to watch out for being manipulative, because that's also the card on the low end. That's also like the lawyer card. You know, the low end, that's the person that can use their speeches, because they are so good at speech at convincing you. They can convince you for nefarious means, depending on their upbringing and depending on how
that's why you are going to be on my show when you finish up your project we were talking about earlier. So people can talk about it. So my viewers will get an opportunity to not only see your demonstration with the cards, which is remarkable, but also to introduce, in addition to your introduction to your new product that's going to be coming on, that I think is going to overwhelm people. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yes. We just had a super chat come through. I got the other one. We have a super chat that came through 9/8/1977.
Okay, they are an 8 person. Their numbers, this person has always been an old soul, an old spirit. This person is very philosophical. That's the nature of 8s. They're very mature for their age. They're old souls. They're the ones that come with a veil over their face, or things like that. Or when they're kids, they'll talk to their parents. They say, who you been talking to, your grandmother? So this person is very determined, very focused. And see, here's the thing about 8s. 8s are often, because it's ruled by Saturn, the winter planet, is perceived as being cold or detached or lacking in feelings and affections. The irony is they're just the opposite: warm, loyal, faithful, dependable. And when the 8s look to the heavens for divine justice, because Christ's number is 888, they're not budging when they feel they're right. They're not going to do it. And if you even talk to a rabbi, Jewish rabbi, they will tell you 26 is the number of Jehovah or their God, which is an 8. So this person would be very, very philosophical. So they wouldn't have to go to church on Sunday to prove anything. And they already know there's a higher force that guides them.
And it's funny you say that, because 26 is the King of Clubs card. That's the card. That's one of the God cards in the deck. The 26 card in the deck. And this person, that's that card, but this person's birthday adds up to a 3 of diamonds. So this is a 3 of diamonds person, and 3 of diamonds person are people that, you know, they have challenging young lives, very challenging at a young age.
Yes, exactly right. Only they're what I call the late bloomers.
Yes, but they come into their own later on. You're right.
Yeah, they're the late bloomers. So it's amazing how the cards coordinate with what I do and what you do, and these are ancient sciences. Let me tell you, the cards that you're reading, that didn't start just now because you got a hold of them. This is, I've got a book that Nina Diamond gave me. That book was old, man. This stuff has been around a long time. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, how did they come into this? How did they know if you were born in this time of the year, you would be described as that sign? How did they know if you were born under? These are the only things I'm searching. That's the level I'm at now. You said that so-and-so was so-and-so. But I tell you this, I've used it and practiced this enough over decades to know that it's right on point.
Right on
That's
point.
All that matters. Yeah.
Right on point. Another, I have Valentine's Day, 2/14/79.
Okay. This person is an air sign with an air number, which means they're always in their head. The secret to holding on to a number 5, because 1 + 4 is 5, is to let them go. Don't always be clocking them, where you going, why you. At first, it's cute if you're first dating. Oh, they want to know. But to do that every day, oh no, that would work their nerves. No. And 5s work well under pressure. It tells me this person is multifaceted, multi-talented, multidimensional. They don't like people that are slow, dull, or boring. And they will do well in any areas connected with business, science, commerce, communications, import, export, the stock exchange, the literary field, the travel industry. They are just a well-rounded person. This is why sometimes that saying, a jack of something of all trades and a master of none.
What did you say?
That.
What card are they?
Yeah, Jack. See how we
Jack
work?
of Diamonds.
How we coordinate?
Yeah, Jack of Diamonds are people who are multi-talented, multifaceted, sometimes too talented, because it takes them forever to find their vision. They usually joke around. He probably jokes around. It took them a while to really find their path, because they were spending too much time being everybody's friend.
Notice the terminology I use: jack of all trades, and you pull up a jack. See,
and they're Jack of Diamonds.
Yeah,
So it just goes to show you guys the sciences overlap, and this truly is a
Yeah.
science.
Yeah. It's a matter of, when you got people, now you have some beginners and they may not, but when you got experienced persons like ourselves, it shows you that, notice we're in lockstep. And this wasn't the first card you pulled that seemed to be in lockstep with what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. And it's only 52 cards. And so when you're dealing with 52 cards, and there are 365 birthdays, but only 52 cards. So it goes to show you that some of these things, they have, what I call a card is just like a number. It's not a literal thing. It's an energy signature. And there's a range of possibilities, positive to negative. And no two people are going to experience those possibilities exactly the same.
Exactly. I think it's great. I think this is great. So from your destiny, the month, the day, and the year you're born, you will always be here to be of service.
I don't know how much more time you have, but we got like 4 more that came through. Is that? Do you have time?
I'll take them right quick, and because I've got some other things I have to do, but I'll do that. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna take these last 4. Thank you everybody else who's been putting your birthdays in, but I'm gonna take these last 4. And then we're gonna go ahead and then we're gonna close it out for everybody. Okay, and we can make these really quick. The next one is 11/6/1985.
If this is a woman, they're strikingly beautiful.
That's a man.
If there's a guy, then he would be a good-looking guy. But one of his challenges, they would tell him, is that with women, they would say he has control issues. But it's not that he has control issues, but 6s have a very strong sense of family and a strong sense of right and wrong and justice. He has all the numbers that Tesla says, those who understand the 3, 6, and 9, but his numbers are the 6, the 9, and the 3. So those are his numbers. And this year, he happens to be in a 6-person year also. So that means this year he's been working on his appearance, working on his health, working on his physique, maybe going back to the gym, taking a class or 2, whatever. But the 6, 9, and 3 are his numbers, and his best days are always on a Friday, a Tuesday, and a Thursday, in that order.
And you're an Ace of Diamonds person, so that means your personality, you're somebody that you got to trust yourself. He has to know how to trust himself and be open to all things possible and all things new. That's what the Ace of Diamonds is. They're open to everything new values, new experiences, new ways of new modalities of thought. Be open to that, and you'll be okay. The next one we have is 3/29/08.
3/29?
Yes.
Okay, this person is a mix of fire and water, which may seem contradictory, but it all depends on what day of the week you catch them on, or what month of the year you catch them on. This indicates that this person is very sensitive. This person is very receptive. This person is a person who can pick up on things literally. This person will also be called upon to negotiate things too. And this person also has to be careful of not putting his trust in everything or everyone, but doing it on himself. This person also may be very finicky or fussy about their eating habits or their dietary laws. They're just not going to eat anything. So if they're vegetarian or semi-vegetarian, if they cook better than their mates, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But they should always follow their first mind. And if you notice how a 2 is written, because if 29 adds to an 11 and 1 + 1 is 2, it's almost shaped like the intestines of the stomach, which is why I said this person, if they're anything, they don't have any concerns with the stomach and digestive tract. With the men, the prostate. With the women, the reproductive organs. It all depends.
Okay. 12/23.
And their lucky numbers, by the way, are the 2, 7, and 6. Those are their numbers.
2, 7, and 6. 12/23/78.
12/23. This would be a Capricorn 5 person. That means this person started out, and in fact, this person was influenced by a third party in their growing up. Like, yes, their mom and dad was there, but it could have been a grandmother, an auntie, or grandfather, someone else who was equally as influential in their upbringing as well. But it indicates that this person always knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. That's how they may have met their mate, found their job, got their apartment, whatever the case is. And their key numbers are the 5, 8, and 6. And their best days are always on a Wednesday, Friday, and a Saturday.
Okay, that's it. I love this. 2/15/83.
2/15. This person is a person that where money, gifts, and favors will come to them. They would do well in the areas of service. They would do well in the arts. They would do well in the world of business or real estate or banking. This particular year for them is a year for them where they either, especially if it's a woman, it tells me they've changed their hair, especially if it's a woman that tells me they've gotten involved in a weight loss or exercise program, or they even just enrolled in a course, finished the course, about to sign up for a course, but they always a work in progress this year. And this is year, depending on their age, where it's rule love, marriage, separation, divorce, births, pregnancies, moving into a home, moving out of a home. Only they will know what categories I just mentioned fit the bill for them. Their key numbers are the 6, 2, and 7, and the psychic numbers are the 2, 6, and 7. So this person always know, they just don't know how they know, and they should follow their first mind.
See, that's beautiful. I have one last one. That's
and they would be an 8
505.
of diamond. I think they would be an 8 of diamond.
What birthday was that? 215?
February 15th.
Oh no, that would be 10 of diamonds.
That's right. It's going backwards.
Yeah, it goes
right.
backwards.
It'd be the 17th of February.
Yeah.
It would be 8 of diamond. Like Michael Jordan.
10 of diamonds is all about, that's a refinement. That's graduated stage. That's royalty right there. They've refined it. There's somebody that got to watch out because there's big wins and big losses, that number.
Yeah. I would agree with you, knowing people on that day. Yes.
Yeah. And the last one is 505.
This person walked before they were 1 year old, believe it or not. If they talk to their parents, they would tell you around about 9 months, 10 months, they was practically walking, and before they was 1 year old, they definitely walked. This is a person that is a person wide ranging. They love to do a variety of things. They are an earth sign with an air number, which means they're very practical yet very logical at the same time. And they tend to work extremely well under pressure, although they claim they don't like it. And this year they're doing a lot of growing up. I don't care how old they are, whether they're 80 or 18. They're doing a lot of growing up philosophically in terms of looking at their lives and stuff like that. And they're going to be reconnected with people from their past by way of funerals, christenings, baby showers, things of that nature. But this is their time to come of age, so to speak.
See, that was beautiful. See, I would love to have you on
the 5, 6, and 9. And their best days are Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday in that order.
See. I know you have places to go. I would love to, if you're open to it, I would like to have you come back on here again and more regularly.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to have you back on. You said your project will be ready in a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
I have for the viewers, I didn't talk about that, but I have a show every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. live. It's called Live with Lloyd, and it's on YouTube. My YouTube channel is called Numbers and You, but my show is called Live with Lloyd, but my YouTube channel is Numbers and You. And in fact, if you go to YouTube and type in Numbers and you'll see the interview I did with Dwayne where he shows off. The brother's a master at what he does.
I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you because I'm inspired by you. You know, when I started me doing I've been doing a channel talking about current events and music and stuff like that. But when I decided to reveal the side of me that deals with cards, I was nervous, of course, because you don't know how it's going to be received.
Understood on that one. Understood.
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to be received, but knowing there are people out there like you that were doing these sciences back in the 70s and the 80s when it was truly, truly not only frowned upon, it can actually get you kicked out of a lot of circles because you were just known. So for you to be able to do it that long, and then now we're at a time that you can be received, for you to have your feet 10 toes in the ground this whole time when it was, I can't even imagine how tough it was on you to stand firm. So for you to do that.
I was. Because as I said, my father asked me, well, how you going to make a living? And I didn't have an answer. I did not know. Mm-hmm. But I knew I found something that was like a calling, for lack of a better way of putting it. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm really, really glad I'm stuck with it because it's now like all the accomplishments I've done just through this alone. I've learned the rules of English. I've learned history. Numerology has taught me a lot other than how to just read your numbers and how to count from 1 to 2. Okay.
Yeah, and you're very appreciated, and the people in the chat room, they all definitely appreciate you because again, we're no longer looked at as weird people for understanding this, and you're a trailblazer and a forefather of this, and so we really appreciate you.
And for those out there that's TikTok followers, just go to TikTok Numbers and You, and you'll see all the reels. I've done about 100 and something reels I put up there from palmistry to numerology because I love the study of palms too. So maybe when I come back one day, we'll talk about the hands and the power of the hands.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Too.
Yes. I want to talk about that.
yes.
Because that's always so interesting.
You have very distinct lines. For example, your your headline tells me you've always thought for yourself. Always.
You damn
It says
right.
you also made a change in your career around about just before your 35th birthday, heading into another direction. And actually you are quick in thought and quick in action at the same time. You got a well-developed thumb. But we'll talk about all of that later. That's going to be good.
That's going to be great. I appreciate you. And I'm going to have some of y'all take pictures of y'all hands and send them in and email me.
Yeah. That'd be great. Now that would really be great.
That'd be great. So I appreciate you, Lloyd. Thank you again. And
Wayne,
we'll talk
soon.
Thank
you so much, buddy. Thank you. And you take good care. And don't forget me to let me know so you can come on my show. All righty?
I will.
Share with your viewers so they can join in and see how great you are on my show. All righty?
I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you again.
Have a blessed day, buddy.
You too.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye. So we want to thank Lloyd Strayhorn. It was just so dope having him on. And we tried to have this interview over a year ago. It just didn't quite work out. But now it's finally here. I appreciate y'all for being patient. And then get your readings with me at go to DewanB.com. I got the shop. The shop has my stuff, my t-shirts in it. Get a t-shirt. Get my playlist, my Afro beats, soul beats, a funk disco drum sample pack for you musicians out there. And then go to breakthroughcards.com. Breakthrough Cards and book an appointment. 15% off your first reading, 15% off your readings the month of your birthday. Within 30 days of your birthday. I'm pretty generous with my time. So if you're within a month of your birthday coming, or you're within a month of your birthday ending, I say within a month of your birthday is August 3rd, your birthday will say July 4th, whatever. Come get a reading, get 15% off. Type in the product code FIRST. Hope you know how to spell FIRST, FIRST. Hope you know how to spell that. Type in that product code FIRST for your 15% discount when you book at breakthroughcards.com. You can pay in installments, and then go to Lloyd Strayhorn, go to his website and schedule a reading and all that good shit. All right, go to his website right now, hit schedule now, and schedule a reading with one of the greatest to ever do it. Okay. All right. I'm about to get up out of here. I got things to do today. So remember this. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Thank y'all again for listening. I'm out.